Hello and welcome to the King's Forum podcast show. I have a very special guest on my show, Sayora. Hi, Sayora.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very happy to have you on my show. We
Thank
discussed
you.
for a while and we finally got it together and we're here.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm so honored that you did, actually. And I'm happy. Yes, very happy
You're
indeed.
welcome. We got a big topic here to start off with as your first, throwing you in the deep end with this topic for your first appearance on my show. What
Yes, you did indeed,
was
right?
tell me about it. What was your biggest life lesson?
My biggest life lesson is life can be unpredictable. So life can be unpredictable. And I think in a life, we have to be ready for any type of event coming across to your life, simple as is. And learn from that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So what made you drawn to this conclusion? What actually happened for you to realize that life can be very unpredictable, and it's not always what we want it to be?
Yeah. So this is a good question. I was in a loving long relationship. I think I thought about I was, but one day to another is my life is actually drastically changed, and I thought I was having a um, loving relationship with my ex-husband, and all was good, always everything is beautiful around me and my kids and our family. But actually it was what I was thinking. It was, I think, I suppose this is my illusion, what I was thinking. And I was in that feeling that I was living my life, but in fact it wasn't like that. So it was something else. So yeah, while I was living my life and having my relationship with my ex-husband, so my life's drastically changed, really changed. So we realized we're actually two different person. So we served our purposes in our life. We did serve. And in some point of our life, I think when is a purpose is finished, so we like it or no, we actually end our relationship. And this has taught me so hard, and that we are not forever in each other's life.
Yeah, that's fair, and it happens in relationships.
Yeah,
People grow apart, and they don't always grow together.
no.
And you discover that maybe it's better off for everyone, your family, for you to part. So these things happen. But what impact has this life lesson had on your life? Like, going through this situation, it must have been difficult at times, being in love with someone and then parting. What impact has that had on your life, on you?
Well, I must say this life lesson give me good impact. Most of the people, they would say good and bad, but I will take it good impact, because I learned a lot of things from this life, from this lesson, because it made me strong. First of all, it made me realize that I cannot hold on to something that is not meant to be there in my life. So I had to let it go. I had to let it go, and I had to understand these things happen to my life, and I have to grow in. Is that correct? Yeah, grow it within, and just to live your life how you want to be living your life, instead of following somebody that who is not in your path, literally. And yeah, I actually appreciated this life lesson, because I appreciate my life and I appreciate my happiness daily, where I could get up in the morning and take a cup of water or glass of water or cup of tea, and enjoy even the gray sky, to say I'm thankful that I don't really have to deal with anything else than myself, my happiness, and whatever comes along, you know. So I am actually happy, really, really happy with this impact, with the life lesson impact.
You believe things happen for a reason?
Oh yes, 100%, 100%. So as I told you, we come to each other's life for the reason. So we come to the like friends, family. You born into the specific family because this is a being reason as well. You meet your partner for the reason as well, like, you know. So yeah, and if, for example, I had this like a life lesson that what I had to go through, and this has taught me to be mentally stable, mentally stable, and understanding life, that life is, it can be perfect as we actually see. So life can be all sorts, really all sorts, right, Michael? So yeah, I think it's 100% this is what happened for the reason, because I was thinking I was happy. Actually, I wasn't happy. I wasn't really happy. It was me who was happy, and the other person wasn't happy. And the reason is over, finished with him. And he's went his own way, I went my own way, and I'm deeply, truly happy who I am as a person, and I truly find myself who I am today.
Yeah. I think we're all on a journey of self-discovery, and
Yeah.
sometimes we go through things, and at the time, they could be really tough, traumatic things, but
Mm.
I think it's all to make us who we are today. And if you can take some positives even from a bad situation and grow
Mm.
from it, I
Yeah.
think that's how we become who we are. And it's important to try and learn from no matter good or bad situations that happen to us.
Yeah.
How has this
Oh,
change your output on life, kind of your outlook on life? Sorry.
yeah, that's a good one. I think what changed, I think I learned how to keep my life very simple. Very, very simple. When sometimes you speak to people, and the people, they make like life too complicated. And I was one of them as well, really one of them, to complicate my life with a lot of thinking, with a lot of like doubts and like researches and the insecurity and stuff. But after that, I realized, but why I'm doing this? Who is actually getting harm on this, or who is actually getting hurt on from this all thinking and like going through in my head? And I thought to myself, no, I'm gonna start keeping my life very simple, that I could enjoy my life daily and keep it everything simple, simple thinking, like
Simple
literally.
routine, things like that.
Yeah, very simple. And this is simple thinking. It means stable mental health, mental well-being as well, for sure, 100%. And I'm so happy for that. Really, really happy, 100%.
How do you manage to keep a positive mindset?
How do I mind? Right. Uh, well, as you can see, I'm quite optimistic person, right?
Yeah.
Like, and well, I read a lot. I read a lot of nice, like spirituality, the books, and I listen a lot of podcasts, good podcasts, and listen nice music, do something that I love, like, I have my hobbies that I love to do,
Mm.
enjoy my daily life, like, daily what comes to my way, like, daily. That I think it really makes me feel happy
Yeah.
because I know what I like in my life now.
Yeah, you've gone through a lot of self-discovery and done a lot of inner work.
Yeah, I did indeed. Yeah, I did. I went through, of course, is not everything is like one day to another is perfect.
Mm,
So I think I had to go through lots of hardship, really, really lot of hardship to come where I am today, to realize that hardship is actually wasted time and waste of my years. And no, I choose to be happy. So for my happiness, only me who is responsible, take responsibility. And it's my privilege to be happy. It's my privilege
mm,
to choose my day how I want to live my life, you know. Of course, there is a traumas and stuff. So, but if I think about it, I will be staying still and traumatized still, but I don't want to. So yeah,
I like that positive mindset of moving forward.
yeah, I think this is a good, right, Michael? Really
Definitely.
good that.
Do you have any advice to give to people who have gone through similar things that you have experienced?
My advice is just keep it simple. Choose yourself. Choose yourself. First is you. When you mentally happy and healthy, you know all around you will be like everything as you want to be happy and healthy, you know. And mental state is very important. And all the way, you are number one. You have to choose yourself. Don't choose no one else, only you.
Yeah, that's
That's my
important.
biggest advice.
It's very important and great advice because, you know, before you can be in a relationship with someone else, you need to do the inner work and work on yourself
Yeah.
first. And, you know, selfish isn't a negative term. You need to be. And that all ties in with self-love and self-worth and doing the inner work. And you have to love yourself first before you can love someone else.
Absolutely. I think sometimes it's good to be selfish, Michael.
Mm,
Sometimes it's good to be selfish because it's important, because that's selfishness is actually sometimes it helps your mental well-being, you know.
mm.
People, they don't talk about the mental health and mental well-being. They don't talk about, a lot of people, they don't talk about, they are every single one, they have these issues, you know,
Yeah, of course.
and they prioritize other things instead of them. So, which is my mistake, has been done like that for many, many years. I prioritize other people than myself. I
Mm.
choose other people. Now I know 1000% I choose me. I choose me first. That's it, you know?
Definitely.
Simple. What is your biggest life lesson you had?
Yeah, it's a big question because I had so many big lessons in life and narrowing them down to one. I'm going to focus on me getting COVID, shall I say. I got COVID 2 years ago, and that was at the height of just when it first kind of got recognized and
Right.
the symptoms were out there and it had the exposure globally.
Mm,
First started having lots of people come down with it. That was right at the beginnings
mm,
in 2020.
mm.
So yeah, I was one of the first patients in my area in Peterborough to have it, and I got you know the first strain, which was one of the worst strains. So this was affecting your breathing. This was the migraines. This was loss of appetite. This was
Right.
joint aches. These are the things that really affected brain fog and extreme fatigue. So I was hospitalized for 4 days with this, and I came really close to not being here. Luckily, after the first 2 days, all the medications I was given really started making a difference on my health. So I really had a great improvement from where I
Okay.
was, from really struggling to breathe and just function,
Mhm.
to then being able to, and because I couldn't really walk around or anything. So when I was in the hospital, I couldn't, you know, even trying to get up to go to the toilet was a massive strain on my body and my lungs just to do
So you
that.
were in a hospital all this time?
Yeah, for 4 days.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that was a really tough period. And coming out, just not realizing that long COVID was a thing until I realized that I wasn't really improving a great deal from the point of, where it had come out my system, but the after effects of having the virus still has an impact. You still have some symptoms of it, even when you've got most of it out of your system. So
Mhm.
still suffering with the respiratory problems, so the breathing, and
Mm.
so I then had to have an inhaler, which I never had in my life before.
Right,
Um,
right.
Started slow exercising to get myself back, the
Yeah, sure.
mobility, trying to get my appetite back. Just started off with really nutritious foods and things like that. But it was a
You
big,
start very slow there,
yeah,
like,
it was very difficult
yeah,
because
go
of,
back to normal.
yeah, me being a fit person and used to play my football and tennis and things like that,
Mm.
and keeping in good shape, to being
Right,
someone who couldn't do any of those things. So it was a big strain
right,
on my
right.
mental health and my own mental well-being,
Yes,
because
yes.
you get really down when you can't be the person you want to be. So that was a real tough time on my wife and my family, and just my mood
Mm.
swings. I've become very passive aggressive and
Right.
very down and very emotional. So yeah, that was a real tough period that I went through there. But that was one of the biggest life lessons. And what I learned from that is appreciating what I have,
Yeah,
appreciating what I had in
that's
my
good.
life, all the great support I had from my wife and my family, my
Mm.
siblings,
Mm.
even the support I got from my workplace, the managers at my work, where they were very sympathetic and
Mm.
empathetic with what I was going through, and allow me to have the time to recover,
Mm.
and
Even understanding. Mm.
yeah, the understanding was there as well. So
Mm.
my biggest life lesson was appreciating what I have.
Oh, that's good. That's
That was
really,
my
I
biggest.
mean, that's good and it's bad because you had to go through this
Mm.
just to be realizing so much you had to go through, you know?
But sometimes we need that as human beings. It's like anything. If
Yeah,
you get used to taking things for granted, if that's the
yeah,
way they are all the time. So
yeah,
until something major happens, like something
yeah,
traumatic, can we
exactly.
really appreciate what we have? Because then
Yeah.
that's when you start, it focuses your attention on that and realizing, oh, actually, these are
Mm.
things I have in place, but I take
Mm.
them for granted because
Mm.
I've always had them there for a very
Mm.
long time
Mm.
anyway. So
Mm. Yeah, this is a tough one, but at least you pulled out.
yeah, I'm still not 100%. I'm probably about 80, 70 or 80%, I would say. I'm still not there.
Did you feel you were so when you had this COVID, you were in the lowest
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
low.
It was one of my lowest periods mentally. I was in a depression, definitely. I was
Uh,
depressed. I was angry at life. I was
right.
angry at the decisions I made in my life. I was angry at, job, where I was living, everything.
Mm.
I didn't like a lot about my life at that time.
Right.
It
What,
brought, yeah, go on.
yeah, what do you think that impact has this lesson had give you in your life now?
I think it's just to let me appreciate what I have, and life's short. Life's very, we're fragile beings here. Anything can happen from day to day. We don't know what could happen tomorrow, and you need to um make the most of life and grasp it with both hands,
Uh,
and stop putting things off and
mm.
listening to the outside noise. You need to
Yes.
listen to your own voice
Yeah.
and find your own way. That's what it taught me, and it helped me to go on do the things like this podcast,
Yeah.
stuff like that, where
True.
it gave me this extra focus, this extra motivation to
Yes.
to live my life to the fullest.
And do you think that actually has a reason as well that where you are right now? The reasoning.
Yeah, that's one of them, definitely. That's a big part of, we're I'm here because of those things happening to me.
Yeah.
And I made decisions because of that, and realized, because it's something I thought about for years, but I would always put it off, and I would always procrastinate. But
Yeah.
things like that happen in your life then
Yeah.
push you forward, and sometimes they're the catalyst. And
Yeah.
that's what I always say about moving forwards, and
Mm.
not always thinking about, oh yeah, that happened to me, doom and gloom, it's the end of the world. No, it's not. It's just something that happened to you. Now, what you need to do is take some positives from every situation and say, look, I'm here, I lived through it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I've got an opportunity now to go and live the life I want to.
Yeah. And pushes you to do something that you've been putting on hold all the time. And this could be a big reason as well, right? To do something that realizing actually you could do more than what you used to do
Yeah,
as well.
definitely.
That's really, really good. But what change you had, like outlook change on this life?
I've, yeah, it's more or less the same. Is just really go for what you want in life. The limitations we have are limited, are limiting beliefs that we have from childhood and what have you, that have set us back, that hold us back.
Mm,
It's to overcome it, because
mm,
again, it's just our mind, isn't it?
mm.
Our mind playing tricks on us, thinking that things are worse than what they can, than what they are, and putting obstacles in our own way. You know, your only limit's you. So it's really just us that are holding ourselves back, rather than someone's trying to stop us
Yeah,
from achieving. So
yeah,
it's remembering that, and just focus on, you know what, let's keep on going and going for what we want, because we
yeah.
don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And
That's right.
I would rather have tried than to fail, and then rather than not try.
Yeah, and regret after that. But do you think the childhood plays a big part on when we grow up? Like,
It's one of the biggest parts. If we, anyone who has, you know, any real limiting beliefs, they come from childhood.
yeah.
Your limiting beliefs come, you need to look back. I always say that to people: look at the why, the way you are the way you are,
Mm-hmm.
and look back. I've done a lot of that over the years, is look back at my childhood and things that have happened to me that have been really
Yeah.
traumatic, and
Mm-hmm.
the impacts that can have on a young child to being an adult and
Yeah.
going forwards. Because these things, if you don't process them and deal with them, they come back and manifest in another way, and it's always a negative way. It's not a positive way. If
Yeah.
you've gone through a traumatic experience, it's gonna impact negatively on your future
Yeah.
if you don't
Yeah.
process those emotions and deal with those experiences mentally,
Yeah.
physically, and spiritually.
Yeah. But you see, this not everybody, I think, thinks that how you think. Sometimes people, they look out of easy way. Well, they know they're not making it easy for themselves. They make it more complicated. But you need to basically, I think, uh, when, for example, you go into the room and you see, first thing you see, for example, a mirror in front of you, and that mirror, because that house, you didn't go into the room or in the house for a long time, and the obviously mirror will be dust, full of dust. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna start clearing dust until you see clear in front of you, you standing there. Is, I think, is life is exactly the same thing, that you clearing the dust, childhood, certain thing in the life, the stages until you come and say, okay, I want to do this, I want to see my life in a specific way, and I have to work towards this, you know?
and and the image you see in the mirror is you as your younger self, not as you are now.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. And that's why they say it's blurry dust. It comes out eventually clean, and you see after that clear. So, Michael, so what is the positive mindset you get from all this?
Just that there's always hope.
Yes, that big one, hope, is a big.
There's always hope, and what I mean by that specifically is there's always an opportunity to move forwards, no matter how no matter how negative things get and how tough life is. And this goes for, you know, all aspects of life. When things, you may feel down, things aren't going your way, just keep
Yeah.
on trying.
Yeah.
Just keep on believing in yourself, and look at the why. It gives you understanding. If you look at why things have happened or what you can learn from what has happened,
Mm,
then that understanding helps you move forward. I
yeah.
think if you aren't questioning things that are going on in your life and you're just going with the flow and expecting things to come your way, good things come to those who wait, and all of this stuff that I don't believe in. I think
Me too. I don't believe that
if you
too. Me
want
too.
something good, you have to go and get it.
Yes, I totally agree with you.
So I believe that with life. If you want something, go and get it. Go and
Yeah.
put their actions towards getting this goal.
And don't sit and wait around somebody will drop from sky. It
Yeah.
doesn't work like that.
You must be the
Doesn't work.
luckiest person in the world if it does come to that like that.
That's right, yes. But what advice would you give now after all the experience that you had? Like, what your advice would be? Perfect advice. Even for me, even for me, I would love that to
Um,
know.
seek therapy.
Okay, that's good one. Yeah.
Therapy was a big thing, which I didn't mention about my experience, which helped me, was
Mm,
actually seeing a therapist because I had PTSD.
mm,
So dealing with what I went through,
mm.
even going near hospitals now still puts me in a little sense of anxiety.
Right.
And then I get flashbacks of what I went through. So that was tough because when had long COVID after having COVID, I still was going to the hospitals to get checkups and things like that. I was a
Mm.
part of a research program for UCLH. So
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so
yeah.
they used me to basically help others
Oh, okay.
with long
Oh,
COVID. So I was a part of that scheme. So going, I think it was twice a month I would go and get tests, and even that was, I hated the experience because I was so anxious
mm, mm,
dealing
mm.
with that. But the therapy helped me to help me process and realize and accept what I had been through, and that's a lot of the time is the acceptance and getting over the shock of something traumatic.
Yeah,
And we can't always do that ourselves, and
yeah,
there's always this stigma about therapy and psychologists and all this stuff, but what they are is guidance.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they help us navigate through our trauma and our problems,
Mm,
and
mm,
it's not always by giving us solutions, but they just
mhm.
help us process things.
Yeah,
Where we as humans naturally suppress our emotions because we don't like feeling them. We don't
yeah,
like the way it makes us feel vulnerable and um, and exposed to these emotions. We like to suppress them and focus on other things to feel like they can just magically go away. But I
yeah. But
think the biggest
it doesn't go just like that. Yeah, if you don't work.
we need help. We need help,
Yeah.
and don't be ashamed or
Yeah.
embarrassed for asking for that.
No,
But,
I think I believe on that. And sometimes I think acceptance, that is a big one, Sometimes it's hard to people to accept brutal truth. What is brutal truth in front of you? And it could be painful. And not everybody could be okay with that. But some people who actually would understand what really happened and accept, and I think forgive yourself as well on top of that, accept and forgive. And no matter what, if you forgive other person or what a situation, trauma and stuff, as long you know how to forgive yourself, I think rest will be just fine. But can everybody couldn't do that?
no, and the hardest thing is looking in that mirror, because a lot of the times people are acting out and blaming others on what they're feeling because that's
Yeah,
easier than accepting that most of the problems have started with yourself.
yeah,
And that's the truth. That's very tough for a lot of people to deal with, is looking in that mirror. It's a lot harder to look at yourself and say, you know what, I fucked up here, it
yeah.
was my fault. What part? Because that's what I always do, because that's the parts I can control, is
Mm,
what part did I play in this.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't control how you're going to react to something.
No.
Yeah, but I will be aware because I have emotional intelligence that something I say may trigger you,
Yeah.
knowing you. But I can't control that. Only you can. So
Yes.
that's why I always look at me and the part I played, because I can control that part, because I
Good.
can control my emotions and the way I feel and the way I
Yeah.
react to things.
Yeah.
But I can't control the way you're going to react to something.
Yeah. And the people sometimes, unfortunately, emotional feelings sometimes gets over entire body and brain on your thinking and stuff, and sometimes can be dangerous for any human being, because you could do anything, like you could say anything, you could do anything, and like you'd say, you can't. So every human, I think every person, when we come across with such a trauma and a situation, we should be able to learn. This is a skill, this is a skill, I think, to learn to control yourself and your emotions. Once, as you say, once you know how to control, it means you could control around you, not the people, but yourself. It means once you know how to control yourself, it means around you all is controlled.
Yeah, that's the biggest part we play, isn't it? In any situation, is the our part.
Yeah.
And and it takes work, because it's easier said than done. It's not so
Oh,
easy.
yeah. Oh, for
It's
sure.
taken years to work on that and actually look at myself and say, what part did I play and what impact am I playing in whatever the situation is, from my behaviors. So it's not it takes time. Emotional intelligence is something that through life experience can grow,
Yeah.
and through self-awareness is the
Yeah.
biggest thing. The more aware you are of yourself and what the triggers are,
Yeah.
you can control things better.
Yeah.
But that's
And
gone.
that's right. And on top of that, it's not like you wake up and you are, like you said, magician, you will know what's going to happen to you. You've been thrown in a situation like a COVID. All suddenly, you one day to another, you got COVID, and not like a light version, hardest version. So you're not being told, you're not being taught that what's going to happen. You've been basically thrown into the situation and deal with that. With any situation in life, deal with that, and coping mechanism, like you said, how to cope, how to deal, and how to understand and understand what really happened to you and how can you go on about it.
Definitely. And that's the best advice I can give is, look at the part you play, work on yourself, look at
Mm,
self-love, um, look at emotional intelligence, and
perfect. Yeah.
really being empathetic to people around you as well, and aware of, what your words or, you know, the part you play in any situation that involves someone else.
Yeah.
And look at self-love, look at doing the work on yourself and putting yourself first. And a lot of people say it's selfish, but selfish isn't negative. Selfish is what's necessary. Before you can help others, you need to help yourself first.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Even on the plane, when they do the guidance, they tell you, make sure you secure it, and after you're gonna help other person. So there is no selfish, there is a logic here. So if you're good, it means rest is good. Yeah, so that's it. It's all about the logic, it's all about the common, use your brain.
Logic, common sense.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Thank you, Michael, for have a good conversation with you. And yeah, I'm actually happy and enjoying this
Yeah.
conversation with you.
Thank
Yeah,
you
we
for
should
asking.
definitely carry on with the other different subjects as well, for sure.
We will do. We will do. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for asking me the questions. People, please like, share, and subscribe. Where can people find you on Sayora?
And for you, Instagram, Sayorkin82, only all the way, Instagram.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.